Call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions to the agenda?
I have a couple of questions. I believe that somebody submitted a bid for cleaning. Can we add that? We've been weeks and weeks without cleaning.
When's the,
Or did you say?
It's due on the 7th, the 6th of the 7th.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so you had
Yeah, I was gonna hold on to all of them and
Okay.
submit them all at the same time.
Is that,
Yeah.
okay. And then this other email about a sign, are we gonna talk about that? Or?
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up because I noticed that there was an ordinance and I wasn't sure how that would be handled. So I wanted to bring it up.
have the business sign under new business?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 4 ayes, that's recorded. Okay, anything else to be added? Chair's remarks. I have none except for condolences to the friends and families of Elke Ogliano and Lester Whitaker, who lost their lives this morning. Open public comment for items not on the agenda. Oh, I can see you all jumping up and down. Okay, minute approval.
I had a question under the road commissioner's report. Were we talking about sand or salt last time? Because it said last year we paid $875 and this year will be $1050.
That's sand.
That is sand? Okay. Because I know we talked about salt too, so I got confused. And Sasamo on page 2, that first that's spelled wrong. It's just one I.
Oh,
Up top
okay.
more, on the first paragraph, kind of mid first paragraph, right at the
Right on the
margin
wall.
to the left. Yes. Just 1 hour.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
What is your motion?
To accept the minutes of November 2nd.
That's corrected.
As corrected.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, budget meeting?
Madam Chair, I move the minutes of Wednesday, November 3rd be accepted as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I
Mike?
wasn't there, so abstain.
Okay, is it
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention. Okay, the fire department report you have printed because we couldn't be in 2 places at once. And it's 3 pages long, so
Is that the report?
Well, the big thing every time I talk to is he needs people.
needs people. So if you're interested, please call Alex or Shelley.
It looks good. I have not had a chance to read it in detail, but I will over the week.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for supplying that warrants.
Alrighty. I request that we approve payment of the following warrant. 10T Accounts Payable, $49,745.97. 44S Payroll, $8,881.84. And 45S Payroll, $8,576.25.
So a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Now admin report.
So at the last meeting, the dry hydrant grant agreement was signed, and I got an email back from the gentleman that had to be sent to, and he needs a two-sided original signed, so I need to pass it for signatures again. I apologize. Sign those. Let's see, I received a request from Tiny Bread Box regarding a small business sign to be installed at the corner of Basin Road and Huckle Hill with the town forest sign appears. However, I couldn't find a sign ordinance and I wasn't sure what parameters, who would make the determination what would be appropriate.
One goes David.
It's for a business, so I don't know.
I wouldn't want to get into that business. I'm starting to let businesses put signs up.
Yeah, and it's not a street,
Keep Vermont clean and pretty.
so I can't really.
The chair's supposed to sign this? This is only
Just one
one place for one
Was it one signature? I
signature.
apologize.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I did email the road commissioner, but I'm not sure who would make that determination. I also asked for the size of the sign, depending on the size of the sign, if we have more information, we could direct it, but I haven't heard that. So there's that. The next budget meeting, I tentatively had scheduled for December 1st, however, that's not a meeting week, and then December 8th, which would be, is Conservation Commission, Planning Commission's meeting, and they're holding a public hearing on that date. We only have one budget left to cover, and then finalization of the budgets. Would you like to roll it all into the regular meeting? Want to know what your thoughts are on scheduling the last budget meeting?
What day was that again, sir?
So you
So it
go
would be the 7th, the regular meeting. There's only one budget left, and just finalizing the budget.
What you tell
Yeah,
me?
I'm good.
Yeah, because the trustees are also meeting that night, so I might not make it.
Okay, let's roll it in.
And that's all I have.
Okay. New business, State Forester Aaron Hurst regarding state-owned land on Lillis Pasture Rd.
You want me to stand up or sit down? Or?
Probably.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Aaron Hurst. I'm a forester with the Agency of Natural Resources. I'm also the managing forester for Roaring Brook Wildlife Management Area. I just wanted to give you guys an update on where we're at with the new acquisitions, the Weinstein, Peterman, and Skibniowski parcels that we purchased last March. Not much has happened so far. We had some water quality issues on the Weinstein piece that I've started taking care of at the end of, on Lillis Pasture Rd and beyond. Need to get a dump truck up there, so I did a little bit of rock work. And at this point in time, I can get a dump truck down to a stream crossing that's going to require some engineering to figure out a way to get the vast snow machines across that stream. And there's some more work, but at this point in time, we can drive to that crossing, and that'll facilitate some management resource analysis that we're going, inventories that we're going to be doing next summer. In addition to that, we'd like to, here's the signage question again, put some signs up at the top of Lillis Pasture Road. When you first get on the property, on the right-hand side, it'll be in the town right-of-way. I understand the town right-of-way is 3 rods, 49.5 feet. That's where I was thinking it was going, but we're up for suggestions. And then the other sign that we would like to put up is at the end of Ad Brooks Road. So my understanding is that the town road ends basically at the boundary line where the state, where the wildlife measurement area picks up. So those are two projects that are coming up. And then the resource analysis in the spring. So that's what's going in our work plan in January for next year. And then I'll take whatever questions you guys have, if there's any.
Michael?
At the moment.
Jeff?
No, I'm sorry.
Tom?
I'm going to defer, but want to come back.
Okay, Jean?
So what are the signs gonna say?
Welcome to Roaring Brook Wildlife Management Area.
Just
They're
that,
2x3 and they'll be 10 feet in the air on a 6x6 post.
And where are they?
I'd like to put one right at the top of the hill on Lillis Pasture Rd. When you get onto the Weinstein property on the right-hand side, there's a little field there.
Yeah.
That would be where one would go, and then the next one would go on the end of Ad Brooks Road on the left-hand side as you go past that little sugar house there. I don't know if anybody's been up there lately, but.
Munson, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking with Aaron on and off regarding the roads. My understanding from David is that the right-of-way is.
I know it's two.
It's two.
Two rod.
Two rod. And again, it came up in the last time we talked about that here, is to what extent are you expecting this proposed parking area to be accessible? Because really, there's no sensible person would drive a car up there. You've done some work on my property, or where it goes through my property, and we somewhat negotiated that back down. But as anybody can see, if you go up there, whatever, even when you had done the big barriers, it was still soaking wet. And it's not just because we've had a lot of rain. That hill has more springs than you can imagine, and they run pretty much year-round, even when it's pretty dry. So my concern is the use of the Lillis Pasture Road, basically from Tom's house to your property line. That is a town trail that it's just not a good place for people to go. And so I have serious concerns about that.
Sure. That's the public access. The town, I would say, controls the road ultimately. Who drives on it, who doesn't. As for our purposes and the public's need, I don't foresee that road ever becoming a car accessible road. For our purposes, four-wheel drive trucks are suitable, and I think for the public that's suitable. Before we do anything more, we'll have to develop a management plan, which will go to public involvement, and those kinds of questions will get vetted. If we get a lot of pushback from people saying, I want to drive up this road with my Toyota Prius, we'll have to address that at a separate public forum in conjunction with the town and the landowners.
The other question that I have is, as it becomes a wildlife management area, what does the state have any regulations regarding huntings and firearms on the wildlife areas? The Weinstein's property has been used for many years, for people going up firing AR-15s, you know, for holidays, for some unknown reason. That seems to be something that happens a lot up there. Before you got it, several trees were shot down. It was kind of a mess up in that open area that the Weinsteins had made. So I question if the state has any regulations regarding non-hunting firearm use in a wildlife area.
Yeah, this has come up on other properties. Typically, those would technically be called shooting ranges. And the game wardens seem to be able to enforce excessive shooting at other wildlife management areas, so I don't think that it would be different. I'm not sure the statute that they use, but it has come up before. And that's very good to know that that is a activity that happens up there. That was not something that I was aware of.
Okay, Tom?
Well, no, I didn't, I was gonna, I have a couple of questions, I guess. The notion that this is going to become a public access forest parkland. Okay, that's the way in four-wheel drive trucks versus a Prius. Most people around here have a four-wheel drive truck. That is disconcerting for the neighbors, okay? That's my biggest concern. My second biggest concern is the swamp at the bottom of the hill. If you put more water draining over toward Mr. Hicks's property and it comes down that hill, back when and this is personal, okay, because I lived there, so I gotta be careful. But when Irene came and that swamp flooded, it came all the way up almost to the road, not completely over the road, and we had more swamp rats, literal rats, crawling all over our property, on our trees, on our bushes. And if you're gonna put more water that way, then I'm real concerned with the increased level of that pond. It was great 2 summers ago when it was dry. But we haven't had that since Irene, and I don't want that to happen again. And I don't know what you can do to rectify that. There is a culvert. There's a culvert there, but it's higher than the water normally comes. I think the only time it's ever reached was during Irene that I've seen water go through that. So that's one thing. 2 things. The game warden, who's great, he's wonderful, he's good to work with, he's not gonna be up there with all the forests that he's gotta manage, or all the land that he's gotta manage, on a Sunday afternoon, when the AR-15s at New Year's or Christmas time are up there. I'm not sure this is meant to be a public area. It was never meant to be a public area. And we thought when the state bought it that they were gonna manage the forest. And we were glad you did, given what else could have gone on up there. But not to become another recreational piece of property. Those are my personal concerns. From a town's perspective, I will leave it to people that are smarter than I am on that. But I got some real concerns with that whole plan.
I think as we develop a plan, I think that the goals of the agency will become more clear, and those will be pushed by the public and the townsfolk. So there will be ample opportunity to address any of these concerns. In fact, closing off some of those roads and closing off some of those party areas, that is an option as well.
It is a town trail. The town does not maintain it. If you're going to start allowing, by putting a park up there, or a wildlife area, call it what you want, if there's gonna be increased traffic going up and down that road where it's used now on the first 1/10 of a mile or 1/10 of a half of a mile, who's gonna maintain that? The town's not gonna maintain it, it's a town trail. Is the state gonna fix the road so it's passable?
Well, I mean, we would maintain it to a standard that would be acceptable
To whom?
to the neighbors, to you guys. But I don't foresee that there would be a ton more access up there than what you're having now. Most people can get up there just fine. We're not gonna do anything with the gate that the town has at the bottom of the road.
You gonna log it?
Log it? Forest management is something that we are gonna do a resource inventory on, yeah.
You're gonna have to maintain the lower part of that road because it's not up to Adam to do that, my neighbor, to maintain it.
Yeah, no, we'll deal with all that stuff, yeah.
To be sure, I believe Tom is talking about from the gate to Tyler Hill
Right.
Road.
From the gate to Tyler Hill Road, okay.
That's-
So the actual
that's-
driveway.
That's access for Tom, for Adam, and for me to get up. Just as we've gone through my extended year logging, which because of the weather has gone on forever, it's finally done. And Shasasa was supposed to come in and work on the road. Logging will happen, not just on your land, but on other people's land.
Sure.
And one of the accesses is across the road, we talked about where it goes to my landing. And that will happen again, and whenever we do, we will restore the road to a passable condition as much as is required. But that's the issue, is that you're going to want to go, it sounds like you're consistently going to want to go up there with big trucks, with not just logging trucks, but dump trucks to, put in, I don't know if you're going to put in culverts or you're going to be putting in gravel for smoothing out the roads to make it passable for you, which will lead to further degradation of that hill. And so obviously there's a concern there that will be maintained by someone and not me.
Yeah, no, I can apply for whatever money we need, and we'll keep it in whatever shape you want it in.
I don't want it in good shape at all.
We'll take out what we put in.
You almost did. You left one big one.
Yeah, we have the at the bottom too. Appreciate that.
No, but you also left another one halfway up.
Oh,
The biggest one.
no,
That, it was my understanding that would go and would be restored to the way it was. But you smoothed out the upper one that runs off to my property and down above Adams, and cleaned up some of that area and opened it up so I could get to my own logging road. But the one below that, which was basically a gash that goes into the woods for 25 feet, and a very high barrier, for some reason you didn't fix that.
yeah, that one right at the bottom, that's the big one.
No, that's not the big one right now. The one at the bottom is the big and important one
Yeah,
for the rest of that road. But
yeah, that one sends all the water off to the left down into that wetland.
well, except that the one you left
That also
halfway
sits
up
that
the hill
Yeah.
also goes off to the, if you're going up the hill, it goes off to the right.
Off to the right, yeah.
Is all the state land that you guys just acquired going into the Roaring Brook Wildlife Management Area? Because I know currently the top of West Road is kind of where it's at now, after the Merritt Farm.
Mhm.
So everything you acquired will be in that wildlife management.
Yeah, all of that, all of the property that Fish and Wildlife acquires in Vernon will be incorporated into the wildlife management
Okay.
area. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Any more questions for Aaron? Thank you very much.
Thank you. You folks have a good evening.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
The library would like to put up a Christmas tree in the lobby. Jean, you are on.
Alrighty, we would like to get, well, we're already working on our giving tree project. So we'd like to put the Christmas tree up in the lobby again, probably the weekend before Thanksgiving. We're getting referrals, we'll accept referrals from anybody that knows of a family in need. And tags should be available it's Tuesday the 30th of November to start taking.
Yes, we do.
I move that we approve the library to put the Christmas tree or holiday tree in the lobby.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael? Jeff?
Aye.
Aye, and you abstain.
Recuse. Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. It's a great service. MaryLynn Scherlin has submitted a request for an Act 250 letter of support for J-Spec and Uncle Jesse's Cafe LLC.
We have somebody here to speak on that.
I'm just here to answer questions if needed.
Oh, you don't want to talk?
I don't know much about She can't be here, so maybe come.
I see no reason not to support this.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that the board sign in support of the letter to the Act 250 District Environmental Commission regarding the application of J-Spec Uncle Jesse's Cafe Limited Liability Corporation for Act 250 authorization on 2 businesses located at 722 Pound Road in Vernon.
Is there, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael? Jeff?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Do you have the original, or do you want to sign just one of these? All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, Al Crowell, Mr. Arsenault, you are on.
So thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening to you and the board. And I wanted to repeat my early request for a purchase of an Owl Pro to assist in putting our meetings out before the community and increase the access for community members. As you know, BCTV tapes the regular select board meetings and make sure they're available via Zoom. It's a great service, but they can't be everywhere except for regular meetings under the current contract. This will allow boards like the Planning Commission and also the Board of Civil Authority to conduct hearings that will allow people to get in from home. The unit itself, the Owl Pro, is a 360-degree camera with speaker pickup of microphones within 18 feet of the unit. In addition, there would be speakers 360 degrees around the actual unit itself, and the camera would be positioned toward anybody who is speaking because it automatically zooms to the place where the person who's speaking would be. We have checked with Katie Buckley at the Remodeling of Cities and Towns, and this is an allowable expense under the stimulus money that the town has received. So on that basis, I would like to request that the board approve the purchase of the Owl Pro for $1,200 and also allow the installation by our computer experts.
Questions, board?
I don't have any right.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move that we purchase it with the ARPA money.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
in the future, I would rather see a plan put together for the use of all of the ARPA money as opposed to taking it out piecemeal.
Okay, Shelley's writing that down. Okay, BCTV annual contract.
That's not,
Yeah, that was right behind the,
that's not in there, a little sensitive news. Here it is.
it's right under the all.
I think the BCTV must be waving her hand.
Okay, I'm sorry.
One signature.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I saw that this was on the agenda, so you can proceed with your business, but I'm here to answer any questions, or I can make a short presentation if you like.
It's the board's pleasure.
It seems to be the same as we've been doing,
Yeah.
which has been great, so.
I'm comfortable with it.
Entertain a motion?
I did want to just add, if I could, to what Tim said about the OWL camera. Tim is correct that it's a really great way to record committee meetings. And there is an opportunity, if you want to have those meetings also edited and archived and aired on BCTV for additional transparency. There is a fee for doing that, which is just $75 per meeting. So that's something that some of the Brattleboro Planning Commission has taken advantage of, for instance. So this is much a lesser charge because you're essentially doing your own recording and your own hybrid access, and we're providing the editing, the trimming, the titling, the archiving, and the distributing.
Thank you very much.
And that's included, that information is included on the cover letter and in the contract that I sent. It doesn't commit you to anything, it just says what the rates are over and above what we've requested to cover your regular select board meetings and your town meeting, both of those hybrid with no increased charge.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do we have a motion, please?
I move that we accept the contract from BCTV for recording our meetings.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, on the business sign, I think we need to table that until we can get more research done. On pay as you throw.
Do you have a sign? This
Somebody
one?
can do this.
Oh, okay. I think there's one signature, right?
Yeah.
Okay, pay as you throw.
I've submitted all the information. I think at the last meeting, mentioned the total cost for the original startup was roughly $25,000. I think that was a concern, because it's been at a deficit for a very long time. I think that's how we left things. So I wasn't sure if we wanted to take that, if you were thinking about taking some funds from that account to cancel out that deficit.
So, if it was $25,000 short the first year because there was no capital investment made in the project, and it's currently 33,000 and some change in the red today, it's just about breaking even. It's losing roughly $1,000 a year based on the number of fiscal years that you've been through this.
Yeah, well, we also purchased note 28,000.
Okay,
So,
so you had 50,000.
yeah, 53,000 and change.
Okay,
25 from 53 originally.
yeah.
So the year-by-year revenue and expense looks like it's equalized more. FY 2021, the expenses are higher, but I have a feeling she bought bags.
Right, we did, yeah.
And so you don't see that expense covered until those bags are sold.
Right, yeah, you're putting it up front.
I think bag prices need to be raised to cover that money. The town, people that don't use it shouldn't have to pay for that program.
That's like saying if I don't send my kids to school, I shouldn't have to pay the school tax. You know, this is this, you know, that.
It's, you know, they shouldn't be coming out of the tax money to continue carrying itself. But you started a program out of thin air here, and that's the problem. And I don't know with that kind of deficit that you could ever raise the bags enough to get rid of it.
It isn't one.
Solid waste fund. Does anybody have how much is in the solid waste fund?
You know, back in 14, it should have been there should have been money appropriated to start the program.
Well, I know, I don't understand that, because there was, at that point, trash was being paid for by the taxpayers. I mean, there was some kind of fund then. I don't know why they didn't ever use that money.
It should be an enterprise fund. It should carry its own cost year to year.
Sure.
And we, you know, at least it looks like it was getting a little more in line. Yeah.
So what is the board's wishes? Anyone speak at once?
I would move that we appropriate $33,675.26 from the Selectboard reserve for this for this purpose.
Is there a second?
I don't know where that number came from.
The current deficit. Current deficit.
It doesn't look like that.
Yes, it can.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that would even things out. But, I mean, I can see, all right, so we already started deficit of what, 25,000, is that the figure we're throwing out?
And we started at 25,000 deficit.
All right, so, to me, I got no problem with, after the fact, starting things out at zero. I got a problem with the other $7,000 that we've lost in the ensuing years. So I wouldn't support saying, okay, we've lost $7,000 over the year, let's even it out.
I appreciate that, and it's one of the comments I made a little earlier, that I wondered where the 8,000 was over the 7,000 was. But I don't think we have a real clear picture, even until this starts at zero. I don't think we're gonna be able to see a real clear picture. I agree with you in principle on that, I do.
Yeah, I try to be principled.
Yeah, no, I know, but I do. But until we make it a net zero and we can see exactly what's going on with this, we're not gonna be able to make an educated decision moving forward if it's making money, losing money, or breaking even. Where I've got a concern is if we bought bags in 2021, which I believe is exactly what happened, which is why you got the $94,000 expenditure to the $66,000 income. And in 21-22, you're breaking even. You're not making up that $25,000, or the difference, excuse me, in bags, the 28,000, whatever it is, in bags. But we don't really know that yet. So that's why I'm suggesting that we make it zero, we underwrite it, and then we'll be able to track it over the next couple of years and really make a determination if this is something we should continue to do.
All right, I understand what you're saying, Tom. And I appreciate the comment about the principle. But again, to me, I don't recall the origin of, yeah, it doesn't make sense. All right, we're already $25,000 in the hole, but I don't agree with, all right, so somewhere along the line, we're an additional $7,000, $8,000 in the hole. Let's disregard the accounting. Surely there were records that have been kept in the last 7 years that with some kind of audit would determine, all right, what happened to the other 7,000? Was it, the program just lost money, or what happened? So, I guess I'm probably gonna, like I said, I agree with, we'll starting the program out at zero. And everything else in the ensuing 7 years is accounting.
Right, but Mr. Dunkley, if we look at this, I can't find something that is just $25,000. I see 50,000, I see 41,000, I go back, I see 56,000. I don't see that 25,000. I'm not questioning it because I'm pretty sure the town treasurer has it right, because she's generally right. I just don't see that. That's why I'm not comfortable that 25, no offense to the treasurer, is the actual number. That's why I'm saying in my head, I agree with you, again, if that's where the number, but I don't see 25,000 anywhere on these sheets.
Yeah, I think that's rolled into the first year
Yeah.
because that was just, they bought supplies and that was the bill. And then we began.
Yeah, because it wasn't just bags. They bought all those containers too.
Recycled totes. those were given away.
Do we replace those totes when they go bad, or do people have to buy
your own.
them?
To buy-
You have to buy them, okay.
So we have less money left in available bags, plus what's already spent this year is more, it's not even close to what the yearly expense is. Even if we make it zero, it's still gonna be negative again next year because we could sell our entire inventory and not have enough to cover the yearly expense of every year normally.
Yeah, you need more participation. That's the key. You need more participation.
We only have 45,000 in available bags. That's not gonna cover yearly expense for that program. So making it zero is not gonna really, I understand what it's gonna do, but we're still gonna be doing this every year.
Well, you can't. I think that's where I think you make up the difference, track it for 2 years, and then make a determination as to whether you're gonna continue it or not.
That's up to the town, not us.
Right. Well, you bring it to town meeting, that's correct.
I think that, I don't know. I
think
just
an
think
extension.
month by month, we need to see what's happening. In my mind, it doesn't matter how many are participating. It just, the bag sales just have to cover the cost of that trucking and that refuse removal, you know? And if it doesn't, then the bag prices have to change.
Unless people use it. If the bag prices go up a whole lot more, I'm running to the transfer station every week like a lot of other people. You know, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, you know, I saw like Hinsdale's bags for sale somewhere, and they were more than ours.
Yeah.
They're $25 for a roll of large. The smaller, the same. So when people complain that, why are we paying so much? We're paying about the same as the other towns, and you can't compare Brattleboro because, for one thing, their trucking is like, you know, I mean, it's not like driving around these other towns.
So did we have a second to the motion? I can't remember.
And that was for the
33.
33.
I'll second it so we can vote on it. All those in favor, Michael?
No.
Jeff? Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
I don't think it's our decision to spend that kind of money. I think that that's something that should go to town
We
meeting.
should probably have an article.
I agree.
I
Then,
really don't. Yeah.
Can you add that to the article list, Sharon?
then why have we been doing this for the last month to see if we're gonna take it out of the reserve? It's been talked about.
I'm not decided it's gonna be good.
We've talked about this program since I started on the select board.
Oh, solid waste is brutal. It's brutal.
Let's jump.
But, I mean, yeah, I mean, ideally, it would be a good thing, and I get all your points. Let's go to ground zero here and see where it goes, but I just feel like
I just,
the residents are not gonna be happy that that
Yeah.
decision was made just by us.
but it wasn't, and we're done, but it wasn't a month ago, we were discussing that it should have been done. And one of the, and,
Maybe when it was 10,000, you know?
well, if it was originally 25,000, I don't know. You can't start something in the red and expect it to make money.
No, and that's what the treasurer has been very upset about, just, you know, justifiably, and, but it's a lot of money.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
We may have to put it out there as an article of, if this is gonna continue, this needs to get taken care of.
Right, I mean, you know, looking at the long-term future of the program, you the thing is, okay, so you have decreased participation, you increase the price of the bags, then you have decreased participation because people find alternatives to their waste, or they're like, well, I'm not gonna pay that. And so, I mean, it's just a death spiral for a program.
Yeah.
And, there's a certain point to me where you're like, rather than going through the whole death spiral and letting the program hit the ground and die, you make a decision. But to me, the free trash collection that this town has enjoyed for decades is a luxury that other towns do not have access to. And this whole feeling that some residents have that, they don't view it as a luxury. They say, well, you took something away from us that we were getting for free. Well, sorry.
It wasn't free.
Yeah. It's not, nothing's free.
No, in the bigger picture. So, I mean, there's, we can keep saying, all right, well, let the town decide. But it gets put off every year. Again, there's a certain point where somebody either needs to resolve it. The life of this program, the ending of it, or the continuation.
Part of the confusion was at first we were told we couldn't use town money to fund it. It had to be funded by the bags. And we couldn't pay the deficit off of that. And then Bob Spencer did more research and said that we could. And it was just a confusing mess.
At the end of the day, if even when the program, let's say the program ends, this shortfall is going to have to be rectified.
It is.
Be it, now obviously not tonight, but be it in April, March, or be it a year from March, but when this either goes forward or ends, you can't run a program in the red.
No, I mean, you don't want to go from 33,000 to 53,000 to 83,000. Something has to happen before it gets that far along.
Right. And, if you look at the net worth, the worth of the bags does offset it, but not enough to cover
Right.
the cost. Okay, does anybody need an executive session? I haven't heard anything. David, do you need anything from us?
No, I was just going to mention, are we going to maintain our trails to the state standard? It's in Title 19.
I haven't even looked at that. What's
The
it?
town's not responsible for anything.
I kind of like
Is
that.
that,
That's kind of where you are now, right?
not really?
Why?
Because when the board mentioned they put gravel up in there. It's in the minutes.
Did we put gravel up there?
No, previous board, back when this was all turned over to a trail. So you might want to make a motion or do something to rectify that the trails will be maintained to state standard, where we are not responsible for anything.
So we want to make that motion right now? Probably we should put it later. We should put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll have to abstain.
I guess we can do it later.
Okay.
Just so you're aware, because I have what this, like the board had said.
Thank you.
It could come back and get us bad.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Well, yeah, there needs to be a way to split the baby there.
We're gonna talk about the copiers next meeting, or
Yes, that's just for us to look at.
just check?
Not for the budgets. Okay, our next meeting is tomorrow night for budget. And then Wednesday the 17th and Tuesday the 7th of December. We won't have any more budget meetings after next week.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I can tell it's breaking your heart, isn't it? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
we are adjourned.